Whoa. Okay, people, welcome back. In this section, sorry, in case you weren't watching a little bit earlier, we made this thing. It's in a mode of D. And what I want to do is come up with more ideas, but rather than continue with what I've done, I'm going to come up with something completely different. A second idea. So, the development of the tune, we're not going to work with any of this. I'm going to push this off even further now. Well, what I'm really doing is making myself a bit of space. So, I'm using this as kind of like a notepad and just getting a collection of ideas. But I'm going to do something a little bit different and a little bit experimental this time, and I'm going to explain how to use a method of changing key called a diminished seventh, which in theory allows you to go from one key to any other key that you so desire. It's a little bit tricky to use, but it can be a lot quicker and simpler than jumping around through cycles of fifths and things like that, and all the different ways there are of changing key more traditionally. Not that there's anything untraditional about Dim 7 now for the last 100 years or so. But a diminished seventh allows you to change key very, 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 very quickly. If you're not careful, it can sound a bit kind of pseudo Beethoven, pseudo Mozart and shit. So you've got to be careful that you use it correctly. And the major strategy is what we were talking about earlier, which is inverting your chords. The other thing you can do is spread your chords out. And there's a little thing with music, which I can demonstrate to you now. What synth am I going to do this in? We'll do this in massive. I do tend to bounce between three synths pretty heavily, so I do apologise for that. But that's kind of all I need, to be honest. So I'm going to chuck in a massive. And I'm going to explain something which is, I think, pretty important about dissonance now. So, I was talking about chord inversion earlier, and we'll quickly slap together a chord here. But it's not going to be a triad chord like last time. This is going to be a dissonant chord. It's a chord with the suspension in it. So here we go. We'll start with a nice, simple C major chord. Okay. Doesn't get much simpler than that. Now I'm going to put in a D. So with our D, this is now not a straight triad chord. This is a dissonant chord. And that's kind of difficult to hear. But if I spread this chord out and move these notes further apart from each other, the dissonant nature of it is much reduced. So the first thing I want to do, well, I'm going to mute this so you can hear it without me squidging notes all over the place. So this is the chord. Remember this, I'm going to try and change it quickly. And I'll mute that out and I'll move these around. So I'm as much in the dark about what this will actually end up sounding like as you. And I think we'll go with that. That doesn't sound particularly dissonant to me. Certainly not by comparison. Okay, so the further apart you move notes, the more dissonance of an effect you can get away with, or the less dissonant an already existing chord will sound. So that's extremely useful to know, especially when you're dealing with a diminished seventh. So I'll show you what a diminished seventh looks like. Again, we'll do it in C, but I'm not going to do this in C. I'll mute that out for a second. So a diminished seventh is this. This is what it sounds like naturally. Minging. And we're going to shove these around until we get something which is a lot more palatable to listen to. It's just so much easier on a piano too. So the basic way I think about it is I try and keep it in the sixths. Oh, wrong one. There we go. So that's the chord structure I go for with the diminished seventh. So this sounds a lot easier on the ear. Oh, I'll jump back. And one way or another, I use that chord on pretty much any note at all. And I can go from pretty much any key to any other key, because the nature of diminished seventh is that it implies it's going to all other keys. We'll get there. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. And we'll try and use this in anger. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to randomly generate a note. And with that note, I am going to create some music. So I'll zoom in on this a little bit. And now I'm going to look away. It can't be that close. Okay. C sharp again. Something like C sharp. What am I on? That'll do. A B. So we're going to go to B. I haven't decided whether B major or B minor, but we've got to B major because it has a D sharp and that's sort of harder. We're in D, so D sharp, and we're in D mode with no sharps, no flats. So B major, if I run out the scale. B major is 5 sharps, so we're going from something with no sharps to 5 sharps in one chord. One chord. So that's the advantage over doing this via a circle of fifths, where I'd have to do 5 key changes to get to B major from the mode with no sharps or flats. So this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to write something in B major, and that's that. I'm just going to write a tune. Just write a chord. That'll do. And I would emphasize the point is not to write good music here, the point is to demonstrate a technique to you. you'll be very pleased to know. This is going to be a much shorter video than the first one. Much shorter stream than the first one. Let's get some sort of patch going on. Fine. So let's take this part, and we've got to figure out how to make this. It seems impossible, right? Let's figure it out. So in D, there's a massive kind of wobble on that. I think it must be, it'll be that analog delay. I'll take that out right the hell away. Or it could be, no, it has to be the analog delay. The analog delay in Studio One I've had problems with, so I'm going to change it into a very simple delay in here, just for argument's sake. And I'll put another delay on here. That's good. Okay, so now I've got to make this work. And this is not going to be particularly easy. So in D, our diminished seventh in D will go D, F, A flat, B. And kind of I want the last bar to be the diminished seventh. Kind of getting there. It's going to sound weird. Okay, let's get from that chord into. And I went into B major. I might be better off. I never said it was easy. I might be better off going for the B diminished chord. I'll extend this out. You can kind of see a clearer route through now. At least starting to get there. You just have to keep on playing with it. Starting to see how it can work now. I'm not saying it's working well, but I can go from D, if it ever plays. Starting to see how that can work. So, that now works. It could be a little bit better. I could set this bar up going into there that little bit more sweetly, but it works. I think that'll work better. And I think I can do more lead into this part better too. I'll try and figure something out for that. Probably from there. Yeah, I can make that work. So I've chosen that point because there's a jump down. So that gives me an opportunity to get another part in and spread the parts out so they sound differently. But without making it feel like I've put in another voice. But I need that extra voice here, or I'm not going to be able to set up the DIM 7. Because the DIM 7, the one thing I would say about DIM 7 is reliant upon you having 4 voices. You have to imply all 4 voices, otherwise it won't work. In my book, anyway. So I need to get 4 or 3 voices in. I've got my 4 voices in there. That's fine. But what I haven't done so effectively is get 2, 3 voices. It kind of goes, that is very abrupt. So I'm going to try and get in a 3rd voice here, because that's the natural split. Either here or here. And I feel here is more natural. I think that'd be right. Okay, so you may not even like what I've written there, but it kind of isn't the point. I don't like the patches, but that's not what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to show you how you can go from one key to any other key. And these are pretty far removed keys. And obviously I can make the music much better. I'd probably take stuff out, I'd give it more time, I'd give it more space. I wouldn't be doing this in just a bar. I'd be setting this up far more effectively. But this is just a very quick demonstration to show you the power of a diminished 7th to take you anywhere you would like to go. And of course I can come back to D and finish the piece however I would like. Extremely simply and extremely effectively by using another diminished 7th. You shouldn't use too many diminished 7th though. They do kind of stick out. They're pretty obvious. I'd probably get rid of this as well. This is pretty sort of crude and crass. This kind of broken arpeggio. Whoops. That's better. It's less overtly shit Beethoven, if you see what I mean. I'm much happier with that. If I cut out this massive part as well, I think it will sound better still. I don't like that part at all. That's simple. Let's change this to another key, just to demonstrate what I'm talking about. This time I'm going to go... We'll go to B flat minor. B flat minor, why not? So... Oh, God. Just let me figure out B flat minor. Let's see. This one's harder. I'm thinking about this. I'm not saying anything because my cogs are spinning. Might have to use a different diminished seventh. Yeah. I'm going to cut out these notes just for now. Nearly there. Maybe I'm not that big a fan. See again how it can work. I don't particularly like that one. Well, you get the idea. So that was less successful, but again, it's a huge key change I tried to perform there, and it hasn't quite worked on this occasion. The first one did, that was cool. If you do a less extreme key change, it is obviously easier to do. So that is the power of dim 7s. Go from any key to any other key, whether you're in a mode, you're in a major, you're a minor, whatever. You can go wherever you like. I have spent a total of 41 minutes doing that. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised that hasn't worked out perfectly on this occasion. I got one right. The second one, a bit trickier. I need a lot more playing with. So there you go. Experiment with it. It's just this simple pattern. It's C, E flat, F sharp, A. Spread the chord out. Don't have it all bunched together because then you'll sound like a shit classical composer. A really second-rate one. But if you spread the chord out, you prepare for it properly using good music theory, then you'll sound fantastic. Don't overuse them, otherwise it's a bit cheesy. Not because it will sound cheesy, it's just like you can hear that you're pulling off the same trick each time you change key, and that's not great sound. So good luck using your dim 7s. I hope this made some sense to you. I hope you got something from it. Next time I'm going to try and implement some of, not so much this, I'm going to delete all that and get rid of that instrument, but I will be more overtly developing the MIDI which I've used here, going down, breaking down what I've done into smaller parts and trying to make a more complete thematic development of what I've done in a classical sense, but we're going to try and implement it with some of that. Oh god, that's grimy. Okay, cool. I'll see you next time. Thanks guys.